Sounds about right.
Thursday, Christmas Eve.
That is right. I don't
Christmas
know.
Eve.
I don't know how close, and this is a good way to start. I like this. I don't know how close.
No surprise, the dog has to go outside.
Well,
Podcast starting.
I can run through the intro, by myself. You know how it is. I don't know how close to Christmas we did an episode last year. I know that, the bragging rights game last year was closer to Christmas.
Yeah, the 21st. It's usually when it's on.
So we were a little annoyed that they lost that game, and now we're a little annoyed that they lost the Rutgers game, and we're annoyed that yesterday's first half was just pathetic.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, they did win the game. I don't want to get too down on them, but I think there's a little bit of a reason to be a little bit worried.
Yeah, definitely. They seem to have these 5-minute spurts where they're just really bad, 5 to 10 minutes, and Rutgers definitely took advantage of that.
Yeah, and Penn State did too, because yesterday they came out with no energy.
Well, Penn State couldn't miss either, but
yeah, but
it's a different story.
The energy was lacking yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just glad that the game before it went late, so I didn't have to watch that first 4 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. So Illinois and Rutgers on Sunday, 91-88. Illinois loses. They give up 54 points in the second half, which can't happen.
Yeah, and they were really down. I mean, it was 91-85, and Grandison hit a 3 at the end, so it really wasn't even a 3-point game. So, but
yeah,
I didn't think Illinois was going to win this game. Sadly, I didn't think the score was going to be this. I didn't think Illinois was going to give up 54 in the second half. Of course, I had them losing 75-68. You had Illinois winning this game in a defensive battle of 63-60. So
I didn't know they don't play defense in the Big Ten anymore.
Apparently, everybody's taking notes from Iowa. So you gotta score. It's like the first to 80 now instead of the first to 60. So it's different, that's for sure. Player of the game. I wrote down, does it have to be an Illini? Ron Harper Jr. was really good, but I thought Jacob Young was really good for Rutgers and kind of was the catalyst behind that team being really good. But I'm going to go with DeMonte for Illinois. He was 4 for 4 on all 3 of the threes he took. He is so after this game, I believe he was 14 for 20 from 3, and I don't think he took a 3 in the next game. So DeMonte is shooting lights out from 3. Kind of still needs to put the ball up more. I'm glad that he took 4 this game. Illinois as a team only took 15, only made 9. So DeMonte made almost half of them. I felt like he played really good defense in the first half. He held Harper Jr. to 6 points. And let's just get it out of the way. Mulcahy is a word that I'm not going to say, but I felt like he kind of changed how the game was done with this, and DeMonte was kind of on the losing end of it all. My buddy Cody texted during the game and said, this guy thinks he's Rodman. He's more like Madonna. So that's kind of how I felt. Also, he had a jump ball on Kofi where he basically grabbed both of Kofi's arms.
They're not going to call that.
Tore him down. I mean, whatever. And then he went over and talked to the refs about, watch this guy, watch what he's going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then I never saw an angle where DeMonte went above the shoulders on that. I don't know what the refs saw. I don't know why they only showed the fans one angle. But, that instance kind of changed the game. It gave Rutgers kind of I think it was a 10-2 run. Not blaming the refs, okay, everybody, let's calm down. Refs suck sometimes. It is what it is. But I felt like DeMonte's foul trouble kind of hurt in the second half, not being able to play as much. And Harper went off for what he had in the second half, 20, 22 in the second half. So, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the actual game. I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's over, it's done, and now we can talk more about the game. So, player of the game for you?
I guess I have to go with DeMonte. I mean, I don't really even I don't even know anybody else that'd be worthy. I mean, it was such a terrible performance in the second half.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, Io had a good game like Io always does, but maybe we just expect it out of him. I mean, 22 points.
Yeah, you definitely have to base on
rebounds.
expectations.
He's always going to be there. So my brother calls it the LeBron James effect. Is we just expect him to be good, so we don't ever give him player of the game. But
the Michael Jordan effect, definitely. So
exactly.
Well, we're in Illinois. I think it makes sense. His son sucked for the Illini for a couple of years, so
that's right.
Yeah, I am a little bit sick of the way that these games are being officiated. I mean, you cannot have a situation where Rutgers has taken 26 foul shots and Illinois has only taken 11. We had that in the second half. In the middle of the second half, those were the numbers. Right. I don't understand how that's possible.
Before the fouling all happened, I think Rutgers shot 10 after that.
I don't know how that's possible. I really don't. And it's not the officials' fault that Illinois lost. I mean, Illinois' defense was horrendous. And
they were bad. I thought they played good defense to start out the game, and then they hit that. Like I said, they hit that lull where they just stopped doing things.
Their first half was the best half that they've played against a good team this year. It was better than the first half against Baylor, and you actually saw Kofi boxing out and getting defensive rebounds.
Kofi was boxing out,
and it all disappeared in the second half.
Yeah, and then it went away. Trent started off the game good, made a 3 to start, went 3 of 6, so it seems like he's finding kind of his shot. And I thought that he found it more in the Penn State game, but he didn't shoot that well in the Penn State game after I went and looked at stats. But like I said, Illinois was 9 of 15 from 3. I think they need to shoot more threes. We've talked about this a lot. Our buddy over at Hoop Informatics said that Illinois is one of the best 3-point shooting teams, but they shoot the least amount.
9 of 15 is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
they only took 15; they made 9 of them. So
right, exactly. I mean, you shoot 60% from 3 and you can't win a game. You shoot 50 for. They shot 54% from the field and can't win a game. That's embarrassing.
It's bad.
I think. But Trent got a little loose with the ball again. 4 turnovers. I've been talking him up. He's been doing better with the ball. He had like 4 games in a row, no turnovers. Had 4 this game. Io is when he is coughing up the ball at an alarming rate. I think he had 4 turnovers this game. I'm sure we have written down what he had in Penn State, but I think it was like 4 in that. He's got to be averaging 3.5 turnovers a game. But Trent had 19 points, so I mean, good game. I thought what was weird is right off the bat, Underwood brings in Georgie and Curbelo for Kofi and Io. What? I mean, I don't know what I missed or what happened. But how do you put your 2 All-American prospects on the bench at the same time? Rutgers went on a little 7-0 run. I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me what, Underwood and his, who he puts in at what times. I really don't understand it. We've talked about it before, but
he was bad.
It just makes no sense. It literally makes 0 sense.
That could be the difference right there between Illinois being up 4 at the half instead of like 10.
Yeah. And
stupid.
Hawkins got a few minutes, 5 minutes, I think. I thought he played okay defense against Johnson. I know you didn't think so much. And then Hawkins doesn't touch the floor last night against Penn State. So I Underwood being Underwood, and we'll get into Grandison a little bit more in the Penn State game. But Grandison plays 3 minutes this game, and it felt like he was in the whole game against Penn State. So
if Grandison does something other than just stand there, I mean, I'm okay with him getting some minutes.
Yeah. I thought he played well last night.
I think he did too, but I wish Hutcherson was here. I don't know if he's even. I don't think he's going to play this year. At this point.
I think he might.
Which sucks because we were all over him and Hawkins.
Yeah. And Bosman Verdonk, I don't know what's going on with him. He's not getting any time.
He's done.
So, Flair, his pinky toe keeps flaring up or whatever he's got going on.
It's your fault for believing in him. We curse like everything.
I know.
Recruiting,
exactly.
breakout players. Like I pick Alan Griffin to break out what you thought. Oh, everyone else is doing it. Why would you do it? And then he
broke
leaves
out to Syracuse,
and he sucks. I mean, let's be honest.
Georgie didn't play terrible. He is really bad on the defensive end right now. But he was 5 of 7 from the field for 11 points this game. He did get called for a 3-second lane violation while he had the ball, which is just, you can't do that kind of stuff. But Curbelo comes in and he just makes this team better. He did it again against Rutgers. He draws the defense, leaving Georgie wide open under the bucket or leaving Kofi wide open in the bucket. He only got 16 minutes because he was in a lot of foul trouble this game. He took one really bad shot and then made his 5th foul. Actually, was like, man, I'm mad I missed that, and made just an absolutely terrible foul. But man, when he is on the court, this team, they're just better. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe because Underwood's offense doesn't. I mean, that's all you can do is drive to the hoop. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of offense ran. So, we talk about the first half. Illinois, I thought, had a great first half. They were up 11 at one time. For some reason, they don't get the kill shot and put teams away. They kept Rutgers around at halftime. Illinois was up 41-37. I text my brother and I'm like, if I didn't see the score, I would have thought Illinois was up 10 because it felt like they dominated that first half. And then you got into the second half and it just disappeared. Miller, who was just non-existent this game, got stripped right off the bat. He played 20 minutes, had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 1 assist, and a turnover. You can't have Miller doing that. You're not going to win games. That's all there is to it. Kofi said after the game that, quote, "It's tough to be a freshman and play in this league. I witnessed that last year, both physically and mentally." So, I get it, but Miller's going to have to figure it out. He played well last night. His defense was a lot better, but he looked lost in that Rutgers game. And Underwood, I thought, kind of summed it up well for how he's playing and how most of the Illini played in that second half. He said the game finds effort. You can't cheat the game, and that's all you're doing when you don't play hard. So Rutgers seemed to get every 50-50 ball, every bounce went their way, and they just kind of took advantage of it. And Illinois led most of the game. I think Rutgers didn't take the lead till 52-51, and then was kind of that incident with Mulcahy, and Io got called with like a hand check foul. Then he got called with the body on another drive to the lane. But Dan Dockich absolutely loved Mulcahy and whatever the heck he was doing down there. So.
How is Dockich still employed at ESPN? He sucks.
I don't know. He's terrible.
Absolute worst.
The announcer, I get it. You talk a guy up because he's playing hard, and you like that, I guess. But I thought that it was not so much playing hard; it was whining like a little baby. So.
Yeah, I'm okay with Mulcahy. I guess I don't dislike him as much as some guys in the Big Ten. But Dockich is the type of guy that likes those little douchey players like Davison from Wisconsin, and those dirty players that make stupid plays, actual flagrants, not someone hitting their own or hitting someone else's arm into their own face.
Yeah,
actual flagrant fouls.
Yeah,
Dockich loves those.
And so you start to wonder. You start to wonder: is this Brad not coaching? Is this the team not playing? You talked about the free throw differential, but Illinois over the last 3 games before the Penn State game, 25 fouls, 27 fouls, 26 fouls. In the Penn State game, I think they had 15. So is it reffing? Is it the game getting called looser. I mean, did Illinois just all of a sudden they didn't foul? I find that hard to believe, but again, I'm not blaming the refs. Illinois had a chance to put this game away. It was on them 100%. Underwood said after the game, fouling is becoming a problem of epic concern. I agree.
He should say, and that starts with me because I don't know how to coach them how to not to foul, apparently.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, Underwood is supposed to be the defense coach. And last night against Penn State, they couldn't play defense on a simple pick and roll.
Yeah, especially in the first half. And, I think that they're calling a lot of weak fouls on guards this year. Mm-hmm. Like Curbelo getting called for some weak stuff. Io's been called for
hand
it.
checking was supposed to be a thing that was emphasized 2-3 years ago. But to just all of a sudden, once in a while, you're going to call it, I think is a little, it's either you got to do it or you can't do it,
I watched the Illini game. I watched the second half on DVR last night, and then I watched the NBA game. Mm-hmm. And the amount of fouls in the NBA games is ridiculous. It makes me appreciate college basketball a little bit more because there's a whistle on like every possession in the NBA.
Yeah.
So if that ever happens in college basketball, what's this all been about?
Yeah.
I don't know if I even want to watch if it gets that bad.
I agree. I did just, you search around on hashtag line. I always find, I think, good stuff. But Brian Glickman, I don't know if he listens to the pod, but if you do, at DMBryGuy7 on Twitter, he said, if I told you the line I had 3 players foul out and another 2 with 4, how much would you wager one of those was Kofi? Kofi had 1 foul this game. And why is Kofi on the bench so much? Is he that I know that when Miles Johnson came in, Kofi didn't seem to be able to do as much. But is he not that physically fit to be able to play for, 36 minutes, 37 minutes? He had 33 minutes this game. He was 7 of 14 from the field. He was really good in the first half. Miles Johnson kind of got in his grill and made him look not as great. But 17 points, 12 rebounds. Another double-double for the guy. And like you said, he was boxing out to start the game. I hadn't seen Kofi box out all year. So all the last 2 years. So Kofi did say that they punked us on the offensive glass in the second half. So, okay. And then Illinois had no blocks. Rutgers had 8, which is
good.
Just mind-boggling.
I think he said that because he said the offensive glass thing because it felt like Rutgers had a lot more than they did because they got points like every time.
Right. They capitalized on them.
Which Illinois never does, but whatever.
Yeah, they did. They did against Penn State. I feel.
Well, Penn State doesn't really have any. Penn State has no good big men. They all not good.
And Harder was in foul trouble,
and he's not good anyway. So Kofi makes him look like he's like my size.
Yeah, I agree. And that's but Kofi's going to have to do that. And we talked about Miles Johnson being a problem in this game, and Kofi going up against guys more his size, I guess. He's got to get better at that.
Miles Johnson and Jacob Young are 2 of the most important players on Rutgers. If you look at their game yesterday against Ohio State, they're winning by 10. Miles Johnson fouls out with 10 minutes left. Jacob Young gets hurt. They lose by 12. Yeah. So those guys are important. And they have Geo Baker, and they have Ron Harper Jr. Very good team.
And I kind of think it forced Harper Jr. into doing more than he could. But, yeah, Jacob Young is really good. And he's fun to watch, too. So, Illinois getting in the foul trouble. They started running a zone. Good call, Brad. It was kind of like a 2-3 zone with Georgie kind of in the middle or brought up to the point. I don't know what exactly was going on. But I think Rutgers scored in like 4 possessions in a row. Kept getting offensive rebounds during this because you know what's hard to do when you're running a zone? Get rebounds, box out. It's hard to find a body. So I don't know when you're struggling on the defensive end rebounding, why you would go to the zone. I guess it was foul trouble. What did we say? They had 3 guys with 4 and 2 guys foul out or whatever it was. So I get that maybe you needed to do it, but man, it was rough. But Illinois scored 15 points in the first 13 minutes of the second half. Ended up being down 10 with 6:30 left. I don't know if you listened to the announcers last night at all.
No, not really.
When Penn State was down 11, they kept saying, "Yeah, Rutgers was down 10 with 3 minutes left," and came back. And
I did hear
Illinois.
that once, and that was
I don't know where
that's not what that. I'm glad Robbie Hummel's really paying attention to what's going on in the Big Ten.
Yeah. But yeah, this is all defense. Illinois' defense is just not good, and they're struggling. After the first 5 minutes in that Penn State game, they kind of figured it out. But Illinois was supposed to be all defense. That's what Illinois does, plays defense. That's what we've heard about for 3 years. And Rutgers has 8 steals. Illinois has 4 steals. Illinois has 13 turnovers. Rutgers only has 9 turnovers. I mean, it's not defense. They're not playing defense. And DeMonte is still having a hard time closing out on threes. I mean, Ron Harper Jr. gets the ball, you got to be in his grill. And I think the game, it got within 7, and I believe DeMonte let a 3 in his face, get shot. Harper, did what Harper does. I mean, he's got a quick release, but it was just crazy to shoot that well. They held Rutgers to 47%, which I know isn't great, but I don't understand how you shoot 54% from the field, 60% from 3, and you hold the team to 46.8% and 40%, and you lose.
21 difference, 21 free throws.
20, that's true.
That's a huge difference. Like, that should never happen. 36-15, that's ridiculous. Yep. Also, is all hope lost for the defensive efficiency stat? Because Illinois is 7th in the country in defensive efficiency.
How?
All hope is lost.
I agree.
Unless like, let's think, like, they're very efficient at giving up a lot of points. That's pretty efficient. Yeah. But they're 7th in the country in defensive efficiency and has the metrics. Says that Illinois is the second best team in the country behind Baylor. So,
wow, good job.
He said the man himself,
Haslam, what's his name?
Eric Haslam, the man himself said, Illinois, if they lost to Penn State last night, would have been the analytical version of Purdue last year, which I don't think they are, but they're close.
Let's not be.
They kill teams. They kill top 30 teams, and then lose to really bad teams.
Yeah.
They're not that, but they're number 2 overall. So, like, Purdue was top 10 analytically last year. So
yeah, and you look at their losses. I mean, they lost to number 2 Baylor. They've lost to was number 11 Rutgers after Rutgers got the win, and number 14 Missouri. So it's not like they're losing to name a bad team. DePaul.
DePaul's undefeated.
Is back playing.
They're undefeated.
They're back playing. Yeah, 1-0. Good for them.
Yeah.
Underwood after the game, says typical what coaches say. Life on the road in the Big Ten. Quite the learning lesson today. We got taken behind the woodshed and whooped physically. I don't know if you can say that anymore.
I don't really understand how that makes sense, though. Did they? I mean,
I don't know.
Illinois got physical and got called for fouls every time.
Right. Yep. I agree.
36-15. Like, that, it's unacceptable.
Yeah. And that's and he also said no one is going to go undefeated in Big Ten play.
Wow, thanks.
If you're good enough to steal a road win, great. Today we did not do that. And I'm just going to say this to all the Illini fans out there that are saying these aren't real road games. They don't have fans. You still got on a plane. You flew to New Jersey. You played in a gym that you play in twice a year, maybe once a year. It's a road game.
It's regardless. A lot easier to not have to travel. A lot easier to not have to travel.
Wake up in your dorm room with your girlfriend next to you or whatever they do. But yeah, so I'm just tired of road wins aren't road wins. They still are. Yes. Would fans make a little bit of difference? Maybe, but Northwestern went to Indiana, who had fans, and beat them last night. So whatever.
And the hoops
know.
are different too. How about
the
that?
Hoop. All about the hoops.
They look different. The nets are different. That would bother me if the net was shorter.
Cardboard cutouts are different.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your boy John.
You got Gandolfini from Sopranos. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
You got to watch out.
Yeah, so Illinois 5-3 after this game. 5-3 maybe doesn't look good, but the three teams that beat them at the time were 17-0. So
I'd rather have 3 bad losses or 3 good losses than
take it as you will.
I'd rather be 5-3 with 3 good losses than 6-2 with 2 bad losses.
I agree.
Like if they lost to North Carolina A&T or Ohio, or insert other DePaul. If they lost to DePaul, that would be. They might as well shut the program now if they lost to them.
That's right.
I mean, Illinois is so good that they made Chicago State stop playing all the way. Basically, set the tone.
They had to quit.
Yeah.
But
Penn State.
So that's the Rutgers game. Let's go on to Penn State in a W.
And a bounce back game where it looked like they were going to get killed at first. 23-8, 19-4, 23-8.
19-4, yeah.
And then they went on, what did they go on, like a 10-1 run and then a 9-0 run or something?
Yeah. So Illinois wins this game 98-81. I saw somewhere that this is only the second or the first time since 1971 somebody scored 98 points on the road or something in a Big Ten game. I don't know. That was out there somewhere. I didn't write it down. Maybe I just made it up.
I don't think I.
But anyways, we both had Illinois winning this game. I had 85-73. You had 83-74. I might have copied off you. Whatever.
You do it every time now, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. My player of the game is going to Io. Like I said before, my brother thinks we give him the LeBron treatment.
Michael Jordan treatment, yes.
Definitely. Well, my brother's a LeBron guy, so that's what he's going to say. Yeah. He definitely deserved this game. He took over in the second half. Kofi was really good in the first half, really, really good.
He's Shaq now, apparently. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
He's Shaq.
Just like him. So, Io 37 minutes, 9-18 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. I like seeing him getting up 5 threes. I think he needs to shoot the ball more from outside. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 30-point game. So 4 turnovers, like I mentioned before, inexcusable. He had one that was, I thought, pretty critical at the end of the first half, 40 seconds left. He's kind of on the breakaway, and I'm yelling at him to push it up the court, and then he just lets it go to whoever. And then DeMonte played, Frazier played pretty good defense on Jones after Illinois gave up an offensive rebound in the half. But yeah, I felt like went to a different level in the second half. He was 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Curbelo was 9 of 9 from the free throw line. So I guess if you got it, the thing about Curbelo is he gets to the rim, he's got to make free throws. So it's nice to see those two guys shot well at the line. That's going to lift this team to win. So they were 23 of 28 from the free throw line. So they actually did get to the free throw line, and Penn State did not. I think Illinois was in the bonus with 13:30 left in the second half. So, but yeah, it was nice. I saw that Io was the first player to post a 36-5 in a Big Ten road game since Malcolm Hill did in 2016. So, good job on you.
First Illini player?
I want to say first Big Ten player. Maybe not.
Hasn't Garza done that every game?
I don't know. And then it says he's the first player to do it in regulation games since D'Angelo Russell from Ohio State, posting 33, 7, and 6.
There's no way Garza didn't do it last year.
I disagree. Why would they lie to me? Why would my stat people lie to me? I'll call them. See what I can figure out. Go ahead, Player of the game.
Yeah, I also had Io. I think that he left about 6 or 8 points off. He could have had those. He had a lot of runners that he missed. He missed 9 shots. I bet 3 or 4 of those were ones that he usually makes. He would have had like 40, but he also stands up for Curbelo at the end when Penn State wanted to act like they're an actual respectable school, and went after Curbelo. I don't really see that much, but I like Io standing up for him.
I do too. I think Io misinterpreted what happened.
Yeah,
I think Curbelo kind of overplayed what happened, and Io turned around, saw him on the ground. Is what I think happened.
Yeah.
The reason why he would have got double technicals,
it's stupid.
And then the other guy got a technical. Whatever.
The game was over, so who cares? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Good luck in the NBA. You're not making it there. So I think that I don't know how Penn State's still a respectable school, like how they still exist. You look at Sandusky. You look at the fact that their basketball coach got fired for saying racist things, as well as probably being a douchebag in general. So I'm not sure how we still even have it. How has Penn State not been kicked out of the Big Ten? That's just me. That's just what I think. I don't know how they haven't been kicked out. I think it's only fair they should be kicked out at some point. I mean, what are they giving to us? Football-wise, very average. Basketball-wise, very average. I think we have to have a serious discussion. Kick them out, bring someone else in. Who are we bringing in? Well, DePaul, they went in, let them in. Get some free wins for the basketball teams.
I'm glad they won this game, because we were going to start a DePaul podcast if they didn't.
Yeah. So Cincinnati could be in the Big Ten. Throw them in there.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know why the hell we have teams way east anyway, like Maryland and Rutgers and Penn State. Like, it's the Big Ten. It's supposed to be a big Midwest deal.
It was.
And now we got to ruin it.
They wanted more teams.
I'm cool with Rutgers being in, because at least they have a respectable team, and Maryland has as well. But, like, other East Coast teams, what have you done for us lately? Penn State hasn't made the tournament in, like, 40 years. It's actually, like, 9 years, but whatever. That's just me.
Okay, you get that off your chest.
Remember when they were number 9 last year and Illinois smoked them in their own building?
I do.
So I think Miles Dredge should take a step back and kind of think about what Io DeSumu's done single-handedly to his program in the last 2 years. That's just me. Let's go forward.
Yeah. So first 5 minutes of this game were absolutely atrocious. Like you said, 19-4 start. Before a lot of people could even watch the game, I was trying to watch the updates on my phone and saw like Kofi turn the ball over, Io turn the ball over, Myron Jones couldn't miss a shot one from like half court.
And he came into this game shooting horribly.
Yeah.
I was watching on the Fox Sports app, and I was thrilled to hear Robbie Hummel on the call. We all like him. Definitely. I don't really, because I feel like we trash every announcer, so I'm trying to think of one that we don't trash. Billis we trash, but I like him still.
Yeah. Remember that guy that was doing that one game, and I was like, who is this guy? He was really good, but it wasn't an Illinois game. Remember when I messaged
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
What about Lynn Elmore? He wasn't bad. He did the Illinois-Michigan game last year on Fox.
Okay.
He wasn't bad, but other than that, I mean, I want to like Bardo because he went to Illinois, and I know that he's boys with one of the guys that maybe we'll be having on next month possibly, but his announcing is not great. I think it's good for non-Illinois games, but I think in Illinois games, and I don't know if this is his fault, I think a lot of guys do this, they try to go out of their way to not sound like they're biased.
Yeah, but whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Anywho. Illinois, Underwood was all about, hey, we're going to play this, defense. That's all we're going to do is defense. Frazier had a big article in the Herald Review about how the defense is going to get better. And, the older guys stepping up and showing the younger guys how to be stronger and fight for balls. And then the first 5 minutes, it was like, what happened? And then our boy Curbelo comes in, and the game just changes. Kofi, he starts getting to the hole. able to get it off to Kofi for some dunks. It's amazing that Curbelo just changes this game, and what they do. And I keep saying it. I sound like a broken record probably, but Curbelo ended up playing 27 minutes this game. Miller only had 18. So, okay, we don't have to start him. It's fine. As long as you play him more, I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine. I
Perfectly
mean,
fine with it.
I want Miller to be good so damn bad, but I don't know what's going on.
You still think he's a one and done?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I know we had a comment earlier on Facebook, which I can't see now because I exited out of the chat and then went back into it. But it said Miller sucks. I didn't get to see who said that, but I don't agree that he sucks, but
I don't agree he sucks.
But he hasn't been what we thought he may be. But remember, this is the Big Ten. Maybe it'll take him a little bit to get a rhythm going. I think that they're not really running any offense through him, and he's not getting a lot of opportunities to score a lot of points. But
right, and he has a hard time finding his own shot. And that nothing on him, but because I like him as a spot up shooter, like be more like Trent Frazier and just be ready to shoot. Miller did get to the hole one time last night. Got an and one. Did he make the free throw? No, he didn't make the free throw. So I mean, he seems to be doing, like, you could tell he was really bad at the beginning of this game. And then he jumped on the ground for a ball, which we haven't seen since, he hurt his funny bone, whatever game that was. Ohio.
Duke, yeah.
So he did get more aggressive. The defense, like, something seemed to just switch. And the defense started actually playing. The team started playing harder this game, it seemed like. But I talked about Curbelo being 9 for 9 from the free throw line. That's huge. His shooting, however, 3 of 10 from the field, not great.
He's really good at those like Chris Paul step backs in the lane.
Heck of it. Well, he also made a heck of a layup. That was unreal.
Yeah.
But I like that he penetrates. I feel like sometimes Curbelo tries to get shots up that, would be better off passing them. But
Ben Darling in the YouTube chat says that he's given up on Miller. That's unfair. Can you imagine how good an offense centered around Curbelo, Miller, and possibly Kofi or Georgie could be next year?
I agree.
I mean, if Iowa wasn't on this team, Curbelo would be running the show even more, even though he kind of already does offensively. He makes them go as we'll transition to Mr. Chester Frazier, former Illini.
Yeah, definitely. So, Chester Frazier tweeted out, Curbelo makes the Illini go.
It's true.
So, no doubt about that. And, Frazier would know. He was one of those firecrackers, I would call him, kind of like Felice, just – when Curbelo gets in the game changes, it seems like. I hate to just keep saying it, but Brad Underwood's terrible offense. Like let's run the weave for 20 seconds and then try to get a shot up. It just doesn't work. And Curbelo can actually penetrate and do things. I think that's why he looks so much better than Miller right now, is because Miller does have a hard time penetrating. You never know what's going to happen when he does, which I guess I didn't expect that, but you just got to think that people, like players watching Curbelo, just have to think, man, it'd be nice to play for this guy. Looking at you, Mac Etienne, why would you not want to come play with a guard like this? But hopefully that'll help, in the transfer portal and stuff down the road. But Curbelo is a complete game changer. But Kofi, we talked about a little bit. What a first half he had. 8 for 8 from the field, 16 points. Into the game, 11 for 13. Only played 27 minutes. So I'm still wondering, like, there were times like 5 minutes went by, and I'm like, where is Kofi at? Why is he not in the game?
I think it's harder to play 35 plus minutes when you're 7 foot 290.
True. whatever.
It's completely different than anybody else,
But they
really.
talked up his conditioning so much.
I'm sure he's in great shape, but do you want to,
wear
have
him
him out
out.
there for that long? And
I don't know. I just feel like he's got to play 30 minutes. Maybe I'm
maybe they're getting for the stretch run of the Big Ten, he'll start playing 30, and then the tournament, which Illinois is going to make the tournament. I don't know if anybody was doubting that. They're gonna.
Yeah. But Kofi was really smooth around the rim. I felt like, he never looked out of control. He still puts the ball on the ground and lets guards slap it away from him.
How many times did that happen last night, though? Like once? I saw it once.
Well, once before the game, before we could watch it. And then I think I saw 2 other times, but
doesn't matter. His hands have gotten way better since the Big Ten started.
True.
He's actually even though he probably should be dunking a lot of the ones that he just throws in there, his touch seems a little bit better.
Yeah, I just feel like people are going to be able to catch on to that. And I've said it before, he just can't do it.
Did he kick out at all in the last 2 games? He kicked. I think he did once.
I think he did once.
That's good. Keep doing that a little more. That'll help.
Yep.
I wonder if they're telling him to do that. Do you think Underwood's telling him to do that?
No.
Yeah, he's probably just throw it up there, see what happens.
Yeah.
Get Iowa shot after that.
Yeah. And I talked about the pick and roll defense a little bit. Georgie was and I guess this is what annoys me when Kofi comes out, is because Georgie's the one coming in and playing off the pick and roll. And I don't know what Georgie has been taught, or if he just doesn't listen or what, but he literally, the guard, the guy goes and sets the pick, the guard comes around, Georgie kind of just is and then he just goes back this way and just here you go, sir. Got the whole lane. Go ahead and go make a layup. So, just kind of bad. Frazier, I felt like his defense struggled a little bit. I really thought he shot better than this, but he was 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. But keep shooting threes. I'm okay with you shooting 5 threes a game.
They missed a lot of open threes in the second half.
They did. And Illinois shot 16 threes. They made 5 of them. So it is what it is.
Start shooting 22 a game at least.
That's what I'd love to see them shoot.
They're going to need to do that against Iowa.
Yeah. Yep. But, Illinois started off down 14, 15, whatever it was. Got it within 7 at the under 8 timeout. And then Curbelo turned the ball over, which, he's still doing that. But, so is everybody else. So if the freshman's doing it, I'm okay with it. Led it out to a Penn State 3. And then Frazier ended up hitting a 3 for Illinois to take the lead at the 3:30 mark. So his one that he made, and then he was on the line. I don't even know how they overruled that, but yeah, like you said, Illinois went on a 10-0 run and a 9-0 run, and tied the game up at half, which was pretty impressive considering the way that it started. I think Penn State shot 64% from the field in the first half. And they started off 80%. But Illinois still shooting the ball. I think they were 57% in the first half. So, but the big news is good minutes from Jacob Grandison, I think. If it wasn't for us dissing Io and giving him the Michael Jordan treatment all these games, I probably would have gave it to Grandison. Played 15 minutes. Which this is what I don't understand about Underwood. I don't know, maybe Grandison had some good practices between the last game and this game, but you literally go from a guy playing 3 minutes to a guy playing 15 minutes. And Coleman Hawkins played the last 30 seconds. Seriously, Underwood, nobody wants to go in for the last 30 seconds. I was one of those players. It's not fun.
He's confusing coaches.
The 30-30 is not fun. So, but I don't know why this happened, but Grandison made a nice 3 in the first half. And then on a free throw attempt late in the game, I guess not quite late in the game, but the game was tied at 54. And I wrote down in my notes, Illinois needs to go on a run right here. And Kofi got fouled, missed the free throw. and Grandison got the rebound. Then he got another one, a couple putbacks, and really, I think he reminded me a lot of what Griffin did last year. Going after balls. And I said that early in the season that Grandison reminded me of that guy, and then he kind of just disappeared. And I think that they did interview Grandison afterwards, and he basically said that Underwood told me that I either need to start playing hard or I'm not playing. So
good.
Maybe he saw that he was, playing harder, or why he was in the game.
Well,
but he had 4 offensive rebounds, which is good. Had the most on the team.
I think what Underwood does in between games is he's probably sitting there thinking, how can I confuse the other coaches? Well, wait a second. The other coaches are thinking, hey, Grandison doesn't play very much. Interesting. Yeah. He hasn't gotten very many minutes.
Who's this guy?
Oh, throw him out there for 15. They don't even know what to do, who to match up against them, and boom, it works. Yeah. That's exactly what happens.
But yeah, when it was tied at 54, Illinois went on a little 8-0 run, and then they just kind of kept that lead. We talk about Curbelo, and Penn State kind of ran this press, and Curbelo, he threw a great pass down to Io to completely break the press. Kind of got into a little running game. They called it AAU ball, I think the announcer said. But it kind of got just a little back and forth, which, when you got a 10-point lead or whatever you have, we'll take that all day, if Penn State's not going to play defense. So with 4 minutes left, Illinois had 56 points in the paint, which I thought was a really nice number. And they were out second chance pointing. Is that a word? I don't know. But they had 19 while Penn State only had 6. So basically a complete opposite of what you saw in the Rutgers game in the second half. So, their defense, it really started showing up. I felt like the defense definitely got better. The players played harder, it seemed like, and they held Penn State to no baskets in like the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the game. So, good job. Great game.
Good job.
Pat him on the back. Io, like I said, it was weird what happened at the end, but I love seeing that from him. I think that's huge for the younger guys. I don't really know. It's not like he threw punches or anything like that. So we'll take it. But
was it actually 28-7 free throws?
Free throws were 28-7. Yeah,
that's crazy. I don't know why there's such big differences.
Yeah, I don't know. And Penn State, I think it was Penn State. Like I said, Illinois was in the bonus with 13 and a half minutes left in the second half. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's the refs and who you got, or if Illinois actually just started playing better defense, moving their feet more. I don't get it. But hey, here's that stat that I talked about earlier. Illinois' 98 points for the most on the road in regulation Big Ten game since the 103-87 win at Indiana in 1971.
Well, here's a good thing.
Good job, Illinois.
We shouldn't be too worried about them being able to score.
I know.
3 Big Ten games, 92 against Minnesota, 88 against Rutgers, 98 against Penn State. Now,
what happened to the Big Ten?
Defense is something Illinois is going to have to get something figured out with, because it's been bad. Yeah. Not according to Haslametrics, but whatever. Let's go now. Indiana, Illinois, Saturday. I keep thinking today's Friday. Don't know why. Saturday at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I think this game is in Champaign, right? I don't even remember. I think it is.
I believe so.
Yeah. We were supposed to do a watch party for this, but we'll be moving that watch party to January 2nd. We'll do one the Saturday after this one for the Purdue Illinois game. That it's a 5 o'clock game, I think. But Indiana is 5-3 on the year, so they have the same record as Illinois, but their schedules have been a little bit different, and their losses are a little bit different as well. But they're number 48 overall in Haslametrics, which it's pretty high. I think that's worse than Penn State.
Yeah, it's not good.
I think they're better than Penn State, but whatever. They're 76th in offensive efficiency. They've been bad offensively. They've not scored very many points in games against teams that are. They had 44 points against Texas. So they're 21st in defensive efficiency. Just to line these up with Illinois. Illinois is second overall, 5th in offensive efficiency, 7th in defensive efficiency, which, whatever. And Penn State is 5th in the country in free throw attempts per game at 32. So they'll be getting to the line. And that's pretty much every Big Ten game this year, right? So there you go. They're coming off a loss last night to Northwestern, which, I think we've talked about this before. I'd rather play a team coming off of a win than a loss to Northwestern.
Yeah, I agree. That's the only thing that I am not really sure about this is just after they lost. Ugh.
We'll see. Trace Jackson Davis, who Dockich wouldn't shut up about, is a good player.
Basically the only guy they got.
21 points, 8 rebounds. Right? Yeah, pretty much. Sophomore stud. They got Armand Franklin averaging 12 and 5. Then they got Race Thompson averaging 10. You look at their schedule across the board. They beat Tennessee Tech by 30. They beat Providence by 21. They only scored 44 points against Texas. Like I mentioned, they lost that game by 22 points. They beat Stanford by 15. That was really the only good offensive game they've had against a good team. They lost to Florida State in overtime by 2. They beat North Alabama by 35, and they beat Butler by 8. Butler's a little bit down this year. They've already lost a couple games. They lost to Southern Illinois, so then they lost Northwestern, beat Indiana 74-67. So I don't know what the hell this Indiana team is.
Yeah, and I don't know what Northwestern is, I guess, is the bigger thing on that.
Apparently, they're like the best team in the Big Ten.
Nobody expected this from them. So
especially to not only to start 2-0, but to do it against Michigan State and Indiana. I mean, pretty good.
Yeah. I think that this is a game where Kofi could just absolutely dominate.
Well, the numbers and the size, yeah.
You look at, Trace Jackson Davis just doesn't seem to have the body. It surprises me he's 245, honestly. But he just doesn't seem to have the body that would be able to compete with Kofi. So I feel like these are games where, Illinois should be able to pound it inside and take over. But
they have a pretty experienced lineup. You look at Al Durham, a 6'4", 185 senior running the point. They got Rob Fennessy, who's a 6'1", 187 junior. Armand Franklin, a 6'4", 195 sophomore. Race Thompson, a 6'8", 228 junior. And then Trace Jackson Davis, as you mentioned, 6'9", 245 sophomore. So size-wise, Illinois, very good matchup here. I know you're facing like a wing-type forward like Thompson, who's 6'8", but, they haven't had that many problems against teams like that this year. You look at Minnesota had that. Penn State kind of had that. So, yeah, this is a good matchup for Illinois, I think, lineup-wise. Prediction-wise, what do you got?
I'm going to have Illinois winning this game. I can't remember. I had them losing to Indiana in my preseason thing, but I got confidence in this Illinois team now. After the Rutgers loss, the way they picked it up in that Penn State game, I'm going to take Illinois winning this game 89-81. Maybe they'll get to 100. I don't know because nobody plays defense.
But. Yeah, I went with 86-81 Illinois. You copied me, whatever, not a big deal. So I think it's time to start stringing some wins together. The last time they've won multiple games in a row was, not Wright State, North Carolina A&T, Chicago State, and Ohio.
Yeah, and a lot of people were talking about if Illinois wants to legit be a Big Ten contender, they're going to have to go 8-0 over these next 8 games, which included Penn State, Indiana. I believe they have Northwestern in there.
Purdue.
Maybe not. Maybe they don't have to go 8-0, but
Nebraska.
7-1 would be good.
They pretty much play all the middle of the road,
right?
Not great
all the
Big
teams
Ten
they
teams.
should beat,
and then they play Ohio State, Michigan State, Iowa, Wisconsin, all those teams, right? But
yeah,
next 8 games, they should go at least 6-2. You would think, which puts them at what? 8.
What you're hoping for, huh?
8-3 in the Big Ten. That's not bad.
Yeah,
you'll take that.
So yeah, they play Indiana, Purdue, Northwestern, which God only knows what
Northwestern's great. Apparently, Illinois
Maryland,
almost lost Northwestern in Champaign.
Nebraska, Ohio State, who just beat Rutgers somehow.
For reasons that Miles Johnson and Jacob Young were missing the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then they play Penn State again, and then they go into the gauntlet of Michigan State, Iowa, Indiana, Wisconsin.
Good.
Michigan.
Let's go.
So
bring it on.
That's what it matters.
Not scared of any of those teams.
Nope,
and somebody told me to start an Around the Big Ten segment. So I guess we'll talk about a couple things in the Big Ten. We've already touched on this slightly.
Yeah, I just felt like we need to, we just talk Illini basketball, and we don't really talk about how the state of the Big Ten. So I thought it would be a good idea.
Yeah, the Big Ten's the best conference in the country. The only team that's even remotely close is the Big 12. But Northwestern is on top of the Big Ten right now, 2-0.
Unbelievable.
Big wins over Michigan State and Indiana. Now, you look at the actual
Michigan State by what? 15?
It wasn't close. And I know Izzo said that was the worst effort and game he's seen ever there.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what practice was like for them after that. Here's an interesting one. The Illini have played 4 total road games. Of course, only 2 of those have been in the Big Ten. But, I mean, 5 teams in the Big Ten have played 2 road games. 5 teams have played 1. And Iowa and Michigan have played none. So how much the road games matter? I mean, we don't really know how much they matter this year. They matter somewhat. But, Iowa and Michigan haven't even played a technical road game. Like, Iowa played in South Dakota against Gonzaga, but that's weird. So Illinois played 4, so, I mean, hey, whatever. They played Baylor, Duke, Missouri.
Battle tested.
Wait, did they count the Illinois-Missouri game as a neutral game?
It can't be.
Because that would be, well, yeah, it was 4.
I do think they sold half the tickets to Illinois.
Yeah,
fans.
Baylor was neutral. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so 7 ranked teams in the Big Ten right now. You have 3 of them, or I guess 4 of them in the top 12. I'm imagining Rutgers and Michigan State won't be next week, but Iowa's number 4, Wisconsin 9, Rutgers 11, Michigan State 12, Illinois 18, Michigan 19, 23, Ohio State. So you look at it right now, Iowa should stay the same unless they find a way to lose to Minnesota tomorrow, which they won't. Wisconsin should be good, even though they play Michigan State. Who knows what happens in that game? Rutgers is going to fall. Michigan State's going to fall. I think Illinois moves up a couple spots if they beat Indiana. Not just because they beat Indiana, because of what other teams around them did. Michigan, if they beat Nebraska, they'll probably move up a couple spots automatically. And then Ohio State will move up a couple spots because they beat Rutgers. So I think all 7 will still be in the top 25. But we'll see. So there's a triple header tomorrow on Christmas Day.
Good day of Big Ten basketball tomorrow.
Wisconsin, Michigan State, Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota. So 3 good games. Give me.
Is there another game? Why did I think there was one more? I
thought there was 4, but I think there is another one that I forgot to write here. Is there another one?
I thought there were.
I think there is. I think I forgot one. Unprofessional.
Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan State. You have them. I think maybe Nebraska plays somebody.
Yeah, Maryland, Purdue.
Oh, you have Nebraska.
Quadruple header.
Maryland, Purdue. Quadruple header. Big day of basketball.
That's what I meant to say, obviously.
Did they usually play Big Ten games over Christmas?
No.
Christmas?
No.
Okay.
So Illinois plays day after. So there you go.
Especially
slap in the face to the Illini, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than all of those teams.
So Illinois is going to have 4 Big Ten games played by Saturday, and like Wisconsin and Michigan have only played 1, and Iowa.
Right, there you go. Boom. Leading scorers in the Big Ten.
Weird.
Shocker, Garza's way ahead of everybody at 28.4. Marcus Carr has 23.9. Io and Ron Harper Jr. have 23.4. Leading rebounders, you have Trevion Williams at 9.7 from Purdue, Kofi at 9.3, Garza 9.1. Leaders in assists, you're not going to find an Illini on this list. Io has I think Io's at 5.3 or something.
He's definitely going to add more than 3 or whatever he had last
year. Yeah, Marcus Carr has 6, Jacob Young has 5.6, and somebody named Banton from Nebraska that I've never heard of has 5.5.
D. Banton. Why is there a D there?
I don't know.
Does his brother play on the team?
I just put that there because I wanted to remember something. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll be back. Episode 41 probably
When are we going to do that?
28th.
Because we have a week break. Illinois plays Saturday, and then they don't play again until Saturday.
We could do it on like the 30th. Wednesday or whatever that is. I think it's Wednesday.
Yeah, I think Wednesday would be right
somewhere in the middle. Yeah. All right, we'll do that, and then we'll have a watch party January 2nd against Purdue. So there you go. Episode 41 coming your way next week at some point to talk about this game. Hopefully they won this game. If they didn't, Meltdown City, because they can't find a way to win more than one game in a row. So
yeah, it's going to be bad.
All right, we'll see everybody next week, and that's that. And you can say whatever you want. You want to say anything?
Go Illini.
All right, there you go. Not have a happy holiday.
Probably going to cut me off. Oh, and have a Merry Christmas.
I figured you would say that, so I kind of gave you the stage. All right.